Hello fanboys, welcome back to another video about Battlefield 2042 and how this game is a complete rip-off straight out of the gate. Just to let you all know, the dislikes on the previous video actually helped push my video out to more people, so thank you very much. And I'm going to carry on banging on about this because it's an absolute joke. It's a complete rip-off. And the reason we have a Call of Duty wiki page loaded up is because if you have a look, this is based on specialists. Yay! If we take a look, Black Ops 3 is when the specialists come into the game, and that game was released in 2015. So what we're going to do is close down this tab. We're going to have a look at some info because there is everything you need to know about this Battlefield 2042 game in this video. So I'm going to start off here, and we're literally just going through a tiny little bit of this. And it's about the game modes that Battlefield 2042 is going to include, because you guys need to remember this is a live service model behind this game. So a lot of stuff that should be in the game at launch will be held back. So I'm going to get rid of the highlighting. The biggest, most ambitious title in the franchise, Battlefield 2042, includes All-Out Warfare, the next generation of fan-favourite modes, Conquest and Breakthrough, featuring the largest maps ever for the franchise and for the first time up to 128 players. Experience the intensity of All-Out Warfare in large-scale battles like never before, on maps filled with dynamic weather, dangerous environmental hazards and spectacular world events that see tornadoes rip across the map and sandstorms block out the sun. Tornadoes ripping across the map and players in wingsuits fucking screams Just Cause 4. There is nothing innovative in this title. It is ripped from other games. Hazard Zone, an all-new high-stakes squad-based game type for the Battlefield franchise that's a modern take on the multiplayer experience that is distinctly DICE, but very different from All-Out Warfare's Conquest or Breakthrough modes. And the developers have really stated this is not a battle royale mode, so it's going to be a battle royale mode pretty much. Not only that, I've heard it gets very stupid in terms of you having a little tablet where you can call in vehicles and you can drop them on snipers' heads. And then to be announced, because you know they keep things secret to just keep building that hype. It's the third multiplayer experience being developed by DICE LA. It's another exciting new game type for the franchise. This experience is a love letter to Battlefield fans, and one that long-time players will feel right at home with. Tune in to EA Play Live on July 22nd for all the details. I mean, you can look underneath where my mouse cursor is and you can see the pricing, $120 on console for the biggest edition of this game. In terms of the Xbox Series X being $70 for base, it's actually £70 in the UK, so I think the console Ultimate Edition will be £110 or £120. And the next thing I want to point out is if you have a look at the different editions here, if you get Standard Edition, playable on October 22nd, Early Access to Open Beta, Baku ACB90 Epic Melee Takedown Knife, Mr. Chompy Epic Weapon Charm, Landfall Player Card Background and Old Guard Tag. Then looking at the Gold Edition, all of the above, plus you get the Year 1 Pass, 4 new specialists, 4 Battle Passes, 3 Epic Skin Bundles, and cross-gen bundle. So if you are currently playing on the Xbox One and that's what you buy it for, or the PS4, and then at some point, I don't know, let's just say the middle of 2022, you go out and you buy a PS5 or a Series X, if you've bought the Standard Edition, you cannot play on your next generation console. When I say old gen, I'll be referring to the PS4 and the Xbox One. Next gen, I'll be referring to technically the current gen, being the PS5 and the Series X. Although a lot of people still can't get their hands on them. So if you want to buy the game for your Xbox One, for an example, and then at some point in the future play this game after release on the Series X, you cannot do that through the Standard Edition of the game. Which also leads me to believe I don't think cross-gen compatibility is going to be a thing. I don't think you'll be allowed to play with other players on different platforms, even if they're within the same console family. And then the Ultimate Edition is going to feature all of the above, plus you get a Midnight Ultimate Bundle, an official digital art book, and an exclusive digital soundtrack. And if you look at the dates above Gold and Ultimate, you get to play a week early. So you get to play the full game from the 15th instead of the 22nd. And all of this stuff sort of happened before in the past with these Battlefield games. But it's the fact that there's a Year 1 pass in this as well. It's a live service, so it's going to be filled with microtransactions. If we scroll down on here though, and we go to the bottom, you can see here, I'm going to highlight it quickly. and then I'm going to get rid of it so we can read about it. Xbox One and PlayStation 4 supports 64 players. 128 players and massive scale maps are available on the Series X, S, PS5 and PC, so the maps on the Xbox One and PS4 are going to be smaller. But then, scrolling on back up, and we go above the different editions, this is what you get with your pre-order. The Baku ACB 90 Epic Melee Takedown Knife, which looks like shit. The Landfall player card background and old guard tag, meh. And then Mr. Chompy Epic Weapon Charm. I've seen better looking fucking backpack trophies in the Division 2. This shit is not acceptable. To charge that amount of money, because there's a few notes. We've had a cinematic trailer with no gameplay and pre-orders are live straight away. The gameplay is coming on June 13th after probably about 12 countdowns. This is a multiplayer only game that's going to cost $60 on old gen and $70 on next gen. That's right, there is absolutely no campaign in this game. There is just multiplayer and then an AI bot mode. There is no battle royale or anything like that. However, Hazard Zone's probably going to be very, very similar to battle royale. There will be 60 FPS on next gen as stated in the Microsoft Store or the Xbox Store, and you get 128 player matches. Whilst the old gen's probably going to be locked to 30 FPS like all games on there, and they've only got 64 player matches, but they also have smaller maps, and I don't know why they've decided to go with 128 players, because it's EA servers. They're probably not at launch going to handle the fucking amount of players that they've put into these matches, and they've probably implemented bots to fill in all the spaces that are left from people just not being able to matchmake properly. And remember I mentioned this is a live service model. It's going to be similar, if not worse, than Battlefield 5, which got the plug pulled on it. They just abandoned the game. But it's a live service model, just multiplayer, all this like battle pass and stuff. And that's on top of a full priced multiplayer only game, which is probably going to have a lot of extra microtransactions too. The game releases on October 22nd, unless you buy a bigger edition costing you more money, you get to play a week early. You'll get a 10-hour trial through EA Play, and you can get yourself 10% off through EA Play, which I strongly recommend if you want the game at launch for a little bit cheaper. But then what we're going to do is jump onto PlayStation Blog, and this is going to be quite a long article to read through, but this is the information about the game itself. We're going to see maps, we're going to see stuff about specialists. So this is the first details. 128 player count on PS5, destructive real-time weather systems, wingsuits, specialists, maps and more. So we're going to skip through all of this. This is just your typical sort of article stuff. I'll leave it linked in the description. You guys can check it out. And for some reason, I'm going to have to reload this page. It's all disappeared. Yeah, the whole lot's gone. 2 seconds. Okay, so hopefully this doesn't keep doing what it did earlier when I was flicking through this before I started doing the video, where it just kept chucking me back up to this part we're at now. So, All Out Warfare's Conquest and Breakthrough, that's the 2 modes you get in the All Out Warfare. It's one of the 3 gameplay pillars in the game. It says, as ever, there will be a fleet of vehicles to jump into during matches. Players will have access to a call-in tablet, letting them request a land-based vehicle to anywhere on the map. They can be deadly even before you hop in. Dice example pinpointing a tank to land onto an enemy sniper position. So those 2 all-out warfare modes, Conquest has 2 teams duking it in on a huge space, blah 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 blah. So now we have the maps and their dynamic events. A quick tour of both modes, and some of the maps demonstrate DICE's approach to shaping a satisfying basically flow to the battles. There's a look at areas that are based on real world settings and blah blah blah, you can see all that stuff there. It caters to different insertion methods and blah blah blah, and go big with multi-vehicle combat spectaculars. So there's lots of innovation in this game, I don't think. The map-specific dynamic events are teased. Visibility-altering sandstorms, a space rocket launch, destructive Just Cause 4 tornadoes, and that last can be turned to your advantage with, as one example, the new Just Cause 4 wingsuits. If your specialist comes equipped with one, you can ride the wind, just beware of debris and vehicles snatched into the storm. A potent mix of on-the-fly tactics and strategies carefully considered, lowering or raising bridges, wow. Locking down cranes, wow. Managing doorways, wow. They're designed to keep you thinking and be hyper-aware of your surroundings. Those dynamic world events will feature whichever console you play on, but will probably make your game lag to shit if you're on the older generation of consoles. PS4 player count per All Out Warfare match is 64, and subsequently, PS4's maps have been built with a smaller, more focused layout in mind. So you, on top of the live service model, the season passes, all that sort of stuff on a multiplayer only game, you're also going to have smaller maps. So you lose a lot of content from launch, and then you're also losing part of the maps. And then look at this. All Out Warfare launches with 7 maps total. Let's take a quick tour of those. 7 maps? Are you fucking joking? 7 maps? Because they're going to bring new ones in after launch because of the live service. So you've got Kaleidoscope, set in South Korea. You've got Manifest in Singapore. You have Orbital in French Guiana. You have Discarded in India. You have Renewal set in Egypt. You have Hourglass in Qatar. Then you have Breakaway in the Antarctica. And then meet your specialists. Specialists are Battlefield 2042's different character types. I think they mean Black Ops 3. Each comes with a unique speciality and trait. The former may take the shape of a grappling hook for assault types only, a quick zip to higher spots. OVP Recon Drone, the mark of the Recon, which can be piloted or parked to pinpoint targets. Or the S21 Siret pistol, handled by support firing health vials at those who need them. Those nicely paired with traits. Assault types are known for their nimbleness, whereas a support specialist doubles as a combat surgeon capable of fully restoring a comrade's health. Beyond those 2 unique abilities, specialists can be customised with whatever loadout you wish, giving you more freedom to create a playstyle that fits you. Battlefield 2042 will offer 10 specialists on launch, with more coming down the road in battle passes and full-on microtransactions. So it says under this image, the plus system not shown lets you customise your selected weapon without taking your eyes off the battlefield. A button tap will bring up a plus shaped UI menu over your weapon showing what you currently own. Each segment is tied to a specific item type, scopes, barrel, ammo type, etc. Pick to equip. The road to launch and battle pass. We're marching towards the 4-month mark before launch, and most of what those weeks ahead hold, we can only speculate on. 2 things are confirmed though. Pre-launch, players who pre-order get an early taste of the game with an open beta. Post-launch, Battlefield 2042's first year promises 4 seasons of content, bringing with them 4 new specialists plus new locations. Each season is marked by a new battle pass. EA confirms that new locations will be accessible to all players. But notice how it doesn't say they'll be accessible to all players for free when they're released. There's probably going to be something hidden, meaning that you might have to pay for them, or if you have the pass, the year 1 pass, you might get a week early access. So the new maps coming in will be part of the live service model of taking content out at launch and just bringing it in later on. And then you also have the battle passes for the new specialists and stuff, and they're probably going to be £10 each. So on top of a full-priced AAA multiplayer only game that's going to cost like £120 or £110. It's $120 for the biggest edition. You're also going to have to pay like $40, $50 or whatever for battle passes on top of that, just to keep specialists coming in to change up your playstyle and stuff. And then knowing EA, they'll probably slap full screen adverts unskippable inside the game somehow, like they did with UFC, I think it was. At this point, if you don't think this is a rip-off, then you must be some major Battlefield fanboy. I loved Battlefield 4, wasn't a big fan of Battlefield 1, I loved Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2. They were the best games in the Battlefield franchise. But now the live service model has come in and EA are taking full advantage of it. This is just horrible. To have to pay this much money, on top of more money for microtransaction and battle passes and stuff, to receive 7 maps in the Conquest at launch. And I mean, if you take a look at Battlefield 5, it felt as though there were only ever 2 or 3 maps because the rotation for them sucked. This is an absolute disaster out of the gate. They've opened up pre-orders based on a cinematic trailer. It was using the game engine, but there was nothing in-game. We haven't seen anything on this game. We could have seen the trailer, and then we see the gameplay in a few days' time, and it's nothing like this. The fact that people are defending this by disliking videos and all the comments and stuff, oh, you're hating on this already. Well, open your fucking eyes. Get a bit of self-respect. Start showing these companies they cannot take the piss. If it carries on like this, you'll see them just keep further increasing the price of these games. More things coming into the game that will cost you to unlock. They have 10 specialists at launch. Specialists were taken from Black Ops 3. They have these weather systems, which is just a weather-based variant of Battlefield 4's Levolution. They have nothing innovative in this game. It's just stuff ripped from older games, chucked into this one, made it to all look pretty or whatever, and then they're going to charge you through the roof. Not a single bit of a campaign in this. They have a narrative to their multiplayer, and that is it. Call of Duty from Activision takes the piss with a lot of stuff. They've got like 300 plus bundles in their store or whatever, but when they launch the game, even if the campaign does suck, my opinion on Cold War, they still have a fucking campaign. They have zombies. They have multiplayer. They have a free-to-play, large-scale Battle Royale mode. Battlefield 2042 is launching with, Conquest, Breakthrough, Hazard Zone, and one thing they are yet to reveal. So there's going to be no more than 5 multiplayer game modes, if there are a couple linked into the final one they've got to reveal or whatever. We'll say 5 game modes. There are 7 maps, which are smaller on the older generation of consoles. The servers are going to be shit on the newer generation and PC because it's double the player count. And there are 10 specialists at launch with more to come through battle passes. You can't say that this looks worth the money they're charging for it. No fucking way. But that's my rant over. That's everything you need to know about Battlefield 2042 so far. This game is nothing but a rip-off, and I mean, I'm here. I'm here all the time. Tell me different. Show me how this game is not a rip-off. I'll be waiting. I'm going to leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts below. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.